Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Sup, girl?
Hello, hello, hello. How's it going?
Fabulous. We act like we're just starting a new recording, but this is actually a second recording in a row.
Well, we're so happy to see you. So whatever.
We are so excited to see you and have you hang out with us. What's going on this round?
This round. Well, letting go of things, right? And
Oh,
I don't know if I've discussed this already, then it's been so long. But a couple of weeks ago, I think it's been probably like two, maybe I'm going on the third week. I had a group meeting and I've had some complaints about some things going on in my office that was kind of disrupting clients. And then this one particular meeting that we had our meetup, one of my clients' friends, part of the group, was going to. She's like, I just can't handle it anymore. I'm gonna have to leave. And she's like, well, I'm gonna try to sit it out. And then she says, I'm gonna try to sit it out because I'm trying to figure out what I'm learning from this. So there's a nugget right there, right? So, and it's whatever her nugget was. I don't have any control over that. So it's like the following day, I've already decided. I've already talked to Freeman, and we've already sat and talked about this. That it's like I'm turning my notice. This is it. And I think I'd actually done it just before that. No. I did it right after that. Right after that. So it's like right after that, I was like, I came home and I found something, a template online that I liked, and then I wrote it out just to make it kind of, you know, permanent. And when she came, my landlord basically came in and I handed it to her and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you so much." She said that so many times. And it's not all about that stuff, but it's about like she's like calls me up and she's like, "Hey, we gotta try to figure out something else. I don't want to lose you, whatever." I'm like, "Okay, thank you. I've already turned in my notice. My last day is gonna be October 1st, or I think that's what the date was for that space." And I'm because I threw my hands up because it was time for me to let go. Because I've been holding on to that space for a long time because it was comfortable and it had nothing to do with what was going on that was creating my discomfort. It had to do with it. It was time to move. It was time to shift, right? And sometimes we don't want to do those things because we want to hold on to this, but we got all this asking in our heart. And it's like that when the asking becomes so much, you can either get dragged forward or you just can kind of let it go. And my letting it go was turning in my notice. And then I had actually I did turn in the notice first, and then I had that meeting, and then she talked about that, and I thought, what am I going to do? We can't just stay here. Finally, someone's vocalizing what or confirming for me what I was already experiencing. Right, misery loves company. Just saying, like it's just processing all this stuff. And so then I finally told her, I'm like, listen, I can't. I don't know what to do from here. She was trying to offer me another space. Well, let's just go take a look at it. I saw it on a Monday, and I was moved in on a Tuesday. That Tuesday, just like the next day with electricity. So my whole process of telling you all that story is when we hold on to stuff so tightly, we don't allow the new to come in when there was new that wanted to come in. And now I only moved into another space in the plaza, but that's letting the universe know I'm open and I'm ready for these shifts that are coming. I'm ready for this to happen, whatever that looks like, because I don't have to have control over it anymore, right? I've already shot up, like we talked about in the last video. I've already shot up my rockets of desire that we learned from Abraham Hicks. These rockets of desire from that came from things that we looked at, maybe we didn't like, or we didn't want it in our experience any longer, or whatever. We're creating these rockets of desire. We're creating all the time because we're master creators. But now we're learning how to create masterfully, right? Learning how to do it intentionally instead of just being like willy nilly with it and us saying certain things. And it's like, ooh, this is so exciting. I so like being surprised all the time, which I do. I've learned that I do like that. But it was going through this whole process and it was realizing how much how better it felt even in that space. And I didn't realize because the space always felt good. It always felt good. And now when I went back into the space after I moved everything out, I'm like, it is dark and heavy in there. And I'm like, that is so crazy to me. But that goes to show you the shift of energies. And before I moved all my stuff in, I cleared the energy or our stuff. I cleared the energy of the space. And then we shifted everything over, cleared the energy of the space again. Like we were kind of talking about in the last video, it's shifting that energy. It's shifting it so it feels good. Because sometimes we're walking around grouchy and we don't even really freaking know why. But sometimes it's just the way something's set in your space. It's there's something out of balance. And it's like you can ask yourself, our bodies are such huge gauges. Like, I wonder what feels or what's out of balance, or I wonder what feels good. And then notice as soon as you say something like that, where does your eyes automatically rest onto? Because we're getting information all the time, but we're not utilizing it. So that's part of how I'm talking about being that master creator, creating from in the space intentionally, the things that you do want to have in your experience. And hey, I've sat down even recently, and I'm like, I was hit with this, like, I don't remember if I saw 1111 or what situation was, but what do I really want? I couldn't really answer the questions. I want lots of money. I want to feel peaceful and joyful. And I really couldn't, it really had a struggle getting to that space. So that's what I'm saying. Get to know you so you can get to know the things that you want or the things that you have passions for, so that you can create instead of just doing it by accident.
I hear you, because when we can't receive if we're hanging on to, right? And we've been talking for quite a while about shifting spaces, moving, looking for something somewhere else, a space, and in that process, you turned in a notice, and then right away I saw a post on social media of a lady who had a space to offer. And so you went and checked it out, but it wasn't feasible for the services you have. But right after that, I believe it was right after
Yes.
that, the current landlord said, "Oh, well, let's go look at this other suite." And
Yeah.
then it was like bam, bam, bam. Like it all happened within a week. I think it was pretty fast.
Oh, no, it was, oh yeah, all that from the start to finish to
Yeah.
you notifying me of that. Yeah. It was probably about a week. It was so fast. But
Yeah.
that's how you know you're on the right path, right? Because it flows like that. You don't have control over it. You just freaking grab a hold of it and hang on, and like watch all the sights as they're flying by, like with a smile on your face. Exactly, exactly. Because that's how it is. That's how you know when you're moving in the right direction. And right now, as I'm saying that, I'm realizing there's areas in my life that I can feel that there's a stuckness, and it's like, well, how can I? Okay, what do I need to look at to move on to the next thing? And it's like just being open to that. I'm telling you that, and I start getting a high pitched ringing in my left ear because we're being open to it, being open to being looking at the other space, opened me up to even go to the other space as rapidly as it did, which put me into a position mind space that I really like the way it feels. I can sit there and do a massage on a person, and I'm looking around the room and I'm like liking how it feels. But plus, I've got the person's head that's facing north now, which is ideal, really, when you're doing any type
I
of
like
body
that.
work.
That was the
Yes,
first thing I looked at. I'm like, "Ooh, which way is their table facing?" It's north. Yeah.
that's right. And it automatically feels good. And then everybody has been saying the same thing. It just feels good in here. It's nice. It's just so perfect for right now.
Yeah.
But I'm still open, right?
Right.
So when I was in Florida, I had a very vivid experience in my sleep state that I was like, I knew that my last day was the end of August and that I was going to miss my clients. What does that mean? I don't know. But I'm just open. I'm open to what, because it didn't, in that space, I didn't feel bad. It felt good. And I was like, oh, like in a heartfelt way, I'm going to miss those people, like from doing that work. But it was a space that I wasn't even in a year or 2 years ago to even be in that space. So I'm open to what the guidance is, and I'm not holding on to anything or anybody, because that's an attachment and that's an anchor. And we're supposed to flow and grow. I mean, that's, to me, that's what life's all about. And it's maybe not always easy, but it sounds easier sometimes. But if we just let go, it's freaking fun. Like, it's surprising. I was still tired. I worked from 9 o'clock, well, Freeman and I, but from 9 o'clock that morning until 7. I think I got home at 7:30 that night. But it was so satisfying. And then even come in the following day to be satisfying, and then go on vacation, because this happened just before I went on
Yeah.
vacation,
Yeah.
and then came back, and it's like, I like the space.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the way it is. And there's some walls that could go down if need be, but
Yeah.
again, I'm not tied to a space. I'm just open to the current where it's going to flow to next, because this is how this feels good to me.
And it's one of those things of a lesson of letting go, because um like you said, you kind of had, well, I would say I did too, had an attachment to that room that you were in. And to just say, okay, it was more of a, the the more we, I think, okay, so I'm trying to articulate this, the more, and I'm saying this out loud, so if you have anything to chime in, let me know. It was when we desire something enough, not so much that we're clinging on to it, but we're just desiring something different or new, and we have this hold or cling to whatever it is we have because we don't want to let it go because of our attachment to it, that the universe will in some way um, highly encourage you to make that change. And one of what I was thinking about it while you were talking, I think it was like the last 2 or 3 uh, renters in the suite next door, it was just uncomfortable in one way or another. It's just been uncomfortable, and not any like big discord, just things that were going on that was not kosher for having a massage business or even Reiki and things like that classes next to the other renter, the other suite. And this time it had to do with the odor. And it was just, I mean, when your clients are complaining about it, you just know. It's like, now I have to do something. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't have a business. So maybe it's kind of options, right? You either move or you close your business. There's
Yeah.
options. And you had talked about both.
Yes.
And so the dynamics of, I said, okay, well, I'll start looking for things that, as I drive around town, and I'll see if I see anything. If I do, I'll let you know. And I did. And then the landlord had a solution. And so it was like, flexibility is super important too. We got to be flexible when the universe presents something to us, because like Bev said, you don't know where it's going to come from. You might have an idea, you might have it set in your head that it needs to show up a certain way, but when it doesn't show up in your box and it's over here or over here, and it's coming for you, and you have to be flexible to look past the walls of your box. Like, take those blinders off. This is not the path. This is the path. It's like there's a lot out here available to us, and the universe knows that, but we don't always know that because of our upbringing and the way we have perceived life. And we think it needs to show up a certain way, but the universe is like, well, I'm just going to dangle something over in this peripheral vision over here and see if she sees it. And see if she's going to take it.
Exactly. Because it was there all along. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
That goes with the whole conversation of looking at a problem. If you're looking at a problem, you got those blinders on, you don't see all the solutions that are out here,
yeah,
but they've always been there.
right.
We just open up and expand. Before we started recording earlier, we were talking about attachment to things, right? And so he passed away, it'll be 4 years in November. And I have our cards from the beginning, our little notes, our little messages, like all of that. And it's like I feel like I'm in a process now of going through and just getting rid of stuff, because it's like I don't need to have these things. I don't need to have them. Like even the pictures I have, I'm gonna get a couple of good albums and then put them together and then create one for both my daughters, and then that are here, and create them, have their own album. So it's like I can divvy out those pictures, and instead of waiting till I'm dead, right? Instead of waiting till you guys go ahead and take all this and you figure it out, right? I'll make myself one and make them some at the same time. But I have all these cards and all these things. And I was talking to one of my daughters, and I was like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got this whole thing of stuff over there. And she says, well, why don't you burn it? And I said, that's kind of a good idea. She says, yeah, because you're not discarding it. You're not just throwing it away like it didn't mean anything. You're actually setting it free. You're just changing the energy, the energetic form of it into another energy. So it's like that conversation, that way of learning how to let go of things. And sometimes, I know there's hoarders and there's all kinds of people out there that hold on to things forever because they think that they're going to need it. And you might. I've had things that I've gotten rid of and thought later on that, man, I could have used that. Or even shirts that I still think I would wear if I wish, why did you get rid of that? I could still have that. And it's like, I really, I got rid of it for a reason because I was getting rid of something to allow something else to come in. So it's like, it's just being on this journey and recognizing, regardless, we're not doing anything right or wrong. We're just doing whatever feels better for ourselves on an individual basis. And when we're doing those things, we're doing it from a space of love, really. And it's not anything that feels bad, but it's just, it's letting go of the attachments. And that's what I'm learning. And that goes with people too. That goes with people pleasing. There's still like all these little things that I've had inside of me. I keep asking for more answers, or I keep asking like, okay, what blocks do I have now? Before we get on here to talk, I ask creator, or I'll ask joy, or I'll ask God, or, you know, however I refer to it, God, joy, you know, what do you want to talk about today? And I just let it go. It's not up to me. And that's what's so awesome about us, because we can just flow right with it, because you're connected just as much as I am.
Yeah.
So we just go with this whole flow, and we bring forward such, to me, I feel like it's a lot of valuable information. It's valuable to me.
Yeah.
I value it very much. So thank you for showing up.
Oh, for sure. And you as well. Like I say this quite often is this is our own therapy sessions, and we're very selfish in the way in the reason we do this, but we also record it so we can share it. So
Yes.
we always learn something from each other,
Yeah.
which is
And it was your idea. It was all, this was all your idea, Amy.
and Bev learned to be flexible and say yes.
Uh, Flexible like freaking some pretty tense freaking metal that could bend a little bit with enough push repetitively over and over and over again, you know, like hammering it out. And then here we are.
And here we are, like 4 years later, still doing it. It's amazing.
It
Um,
is amazing.
yeah, so it's allow yourself. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this today is allow yourself to think outside of the box, or not put restrictions on your possibilities, because it's just a vast universe, and there's things that we desire that they can come in so many, like millions of different ways, millions of different ways. And when we put limitations on that, that creates an expectation. And when it doesn't show up the way we expect it to, then there's disappointment. But I mean, this whole solution with Bev moving to this other suite, the suite had been vacant for like lots of times. It's not been full the entire time that Bev's been there. So
Oh no.
it's always been an option.
Yes.
It's always been an option, but never been an option at the same time.
100%.
Because we weren't open to seeing it. We weren't open to the move. We had attachments, and I say we because I use the space as well. So my energy is in there also. And Bev's thinking about both of us when she's making a decision. And so I just say, you know what, do what's best for you, because you're in it the most. This is her business, and I use the space. So do what's best for you. And now she loves it right now. So, and it's for now, right? Doesn't mean it's forever. It's for now. It's a solution.
100%. But that goes back to our previous recording. It's what's going on right now, and that's pleasant to me. That's peaceful to me. That's, you know,
and then
that's
once we're all learning to be master creators, and now it's okay, do I want something different than this? This is for now. Do I want something different than this? Is it a room for a massage, and is there a room for setting up for readings or Reiki? Is it another bigger room for like classroom space? Like we can get more defined in that, and be creative in a next desire, and see what happens. But the idea is to be open, right? We gotta be open to what we can see, and open into looking at, and open to the way it shows up.
Yeah.
And this is where we get into our faults of limiting the way it can show up.
Yeah. Yeah, because we'll limit it by labels. We'll limit it by the dollar figure that we need to have. We have to have, instead of buying a brand new wardrobe, but it was just given to you for free. You know what I mean? That's the way things work. Or, oh gosh, if we win the lottery, well, then you're like limiting yourself to the possibility of only winning the lottery. Is it possible? You bet. Anything is possible. But it's like, wouldn't it be more fun if you just let the universe kind of show you how it can bring it to you? Our job is to focus on how does it feel with what we're looking at? Like, what do we really want to see? Like, when you see that, like vehicles were so easy for me. When I can see, when I can be in that seat, I can feel myself sitting in that seat. I can feel myself holding on to that steering wheel. I can feel myself looking out at the just the everything that's around me, the bushes, the trees, the cows, the whatever, see it all because I'm already practicing and I'm driving in a vehicle right now. But now my vehicle's changed in my mind. I can hear it when I turn on the ignition. Like I can feel all those things and I can sit and think, oh, this feels good. And I can imagine myself looking in that rear view mirror and seeing all my grandkids in the back just like happy and they're enjoying the air conditioner. It's hitting them because it's hot outside and they're dancing. They're all happy and talking to each other. I can see all that.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
I've been able to grow that. So the more that I get to that place and when I can see that, I can feel that. And then if you can't do these things, get with someone that kind of starts you up, right? That trips your ignition, that it can, when they can say things that kind of get you kind of pumped up and you're like, yeah, I could see all this stuff too. Because right now you're ready to create from that space, not from the space of lack or, same things, not enough, sad, despair, victim, anger, like all the opposite things of joy and peace and ease and surprises and how effortless and limitless life can be. So that's our opportunity. We can go one way or the other.
It's funny you mentioned vehicle because for a while I'm like, okay, I know at some point I'm not pushing it now, but I just know at some point I'm gonna get a different vehicle. And then I'm like, well, I don't know what I want. I know I want like an SUV style vehicle, but I don't know what I want. Well, over the past several months, I have had the opportunity to travel with people who are like, you want to drive? Sure, I do. And so I've got that opportunity, like being just driving other people's vehicles. And so I did that this past weekend and I was driving. I'm like, this isn't the one. So it's brand new too, brand new, beautiful vehicle. And I was just like, yeah, no, not feeling it with this one.
Nice. That's awesome. But that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's not a control thing. It's just, and it's being happy with what you got. Because I've sat outside, even recently, I've sat outside and I've looked around. Now I can look around and say, we're in the, like heavy, right? We're in the desert. It's hot right now. There's snakes out here and ants and bugs and gnats and whatever else. And there's that shack over there and that over there. But when I look at things, I'm like, man, that shack's a masterpiece because was by creator. That was if we were inspired by creator that we created those things, that many people created those things and we've got to experience and it's if we're in a space of enjoy, in a space of peace, in a space of creativity and feeling and allowing ourselves to feel all those emotions, we're creating. I mean, we're creating anyways, but that's a place to create from. That's a genuine, you're a master creator and you know what you're creating and it's going to be great without even having any clue what that even looks like. And then it just shows up for you. Because it's like, I'll tell the universe, okay, this is what I want. I don't know how you guys are going to make it happen. Surprise me. And then I just go on and do my own thing. I joke around about that stuff.
Surprise and delight me.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, friends, you got some good takeaways from this one. And, being a master creator, not even a master creator, we're always creating. Always creating, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. But getting good at it is what's the fun part, and when watching how things show up. So go practice focusing on the things you desire, and maybe share with us in the comments how it's going, or if you have questions about it, we'd be happy to come back to it and answer your questions or respond to your comments. So any other words about creation?
I would just say, tell us how you're creating because we're all creating, but tell us how you're creating.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, friends, be sure to have these conversations with your friends and family or share our videos or content with them. We're found on all kinds of platforms. We're on social media, in Facebook and Instagram, Spreaker, YouTube, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, multiple places so you can find us. Amy and Bev Community is the title of our channel. And it's always helpful if you like and share and comment and do all the things to help us in making a presence. And so with that, we thank you for your time and energy for hanging out with us. We do hope that you get something from our conversations. If you hung out with us so far, you have, guaranteed. So thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.